Hey guys, what's going on? It's another edition of No Time for Nonsense. I'm Bill Vinci. I'm riding solo tonight. My son's taking the night off. So it's me and special guest Louie Vito. Louie, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm stoked to be here.
I'm excited to have you, man. You know, we've been Alexa already sent the thank you. I'm showing my parents. There we go. You got the relatives already jumping on. I see a lot of Shalacy's popping on. Lisa said, "Hi guys, how you doing, Lise?"
Yeah, I
Lisa,
love it.
isn't that awesome, man? That's pretty cool. Johnny Pappas said hello. Well, before we get started, Louie, and talk with you, I got to thank our sponsors for tonight's show. First, I want to thank with Matt Grabsky over at Joey's at 307 in Utica. Uh, Matt's got some great specials this week. He's got the mussels Fra Diablo, regular or Bianco style. So you want to check that out. And he's got fried calamari, or he's got Providence style calamari this week. Plus, he's got all his regular stuff, his greens, his antipasto, the Marcella, the Franchise. Check out Joey's at 307 in Utica. Give him a call at 315-864-3527. Also want to thank the Pappas family over at Geddes Bakery in North Syracuse. They have everything you want between their homemade breads, their baklava, their spanakopita, the tomato pie. Louie, all good stuff, man.
I know. I'm dying over here. I'm so far away from these places, or else that's what I'd be ordering right now.
You ain't kidding, man. And the Pappas family are fantastic. They're another proud sponsor of the No Time for Nonsense. Give them a call. Put your orders in. They're at 315-437-8084. Also, we want to thank Ricky Sinfracco at Ricky's Tires. Locally owned. Ricky does auto repair. He does lube and filter, service tire. He's a dealer. Definitely give Ricky a call. Fantastic guy, man. He'll take care of you. Give him a call, 315-37-3225. And I want to thank Lauren Wadilla, who's a longtime friend of Louie. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Reach out to Lauren. Thank you for the donation. And, of course, Phil Shalacy. Want to thank Phil for sponsoring. Actually, it's Louie's godfather and a good friend of mine going back a long time. So thank you guys for sponsoring the show tonight. First of all, before we get started, well, we got a lot of people jumping on. Brian Shalacy said, "Hi, Louie and Bill." Brian, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for watching. Jennifer Shalacy, Debbie Galuppi. Hey, Louie. Thanks, Bill, for the interview. And then Jennifer Shalacy. Hi, Louie. Miss you. So
I know. I got to get back. I got to get back there. It's too much family
back.
I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah, I was going to say, when was the last time you were in Rome?
Unfortunately, it was probably for Big Philip's funeral. It was probably the last time I've been back in Rome.
Yeah, that's
right.
So
it always stinks because it's like we were going back. It was always for like a funeral or something.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I know the family. We're trying to get back there. For something positive, and just I've been also wanting to go for the World Series of Bocce Ball because I really want to get in on that, but it's always just like right when I'm going snowboarding in Oregon, so I haven't made it, but I got to practice a little bit before I get smoked out there.
These guys take it serious, man. They come from all over the world, man. It's crazy. Unfortunately, this year's been canceled because of the virus and stuff. So it's the first year that we haven't been in it, but definitely have to get back to town and visit everybody. But guys, if you're just joining us, I'm with Louie Vito. Man, this is a snowboarding U.S. Olympian, Dancing with the Stars. Another big thing, man. It's great. We're looking forward to hearing your story. If you have any questions for Louie, put them on the message board, and I'll read them off to him. Lisa Shalacy says, "Seriously, you need to come back." So
I know.
He'll be. I'm sure he'll be back to visit, but. Louie, want to get started first, man. Growing up in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about Columbus. Big city right there, man. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I was born in Columbus. I probably moved, though, to Beaufountain, which is small, when I was really, really little. So I grew up in Beaufountain, but I love Columbus. I mean, we got the best college football team in the country there, so I can not be happy. My
son is a huge Ohio State fan, so
he's a smart kid.
Yeah,
he knows who to pick.
Right.
But no, I love it there. I love going back. with having the campus there, I mean, there's like 60,000+ people on Ohio State campus. So, it's always fun to go out, good restaurants, and it's cool how Columbus has really kind of kept the young professionals when they graduated to stay in the area. So Columbus is booming. But Fountain was great. I grew up probably 5 minutes from a small resort. Like, I go anywhere and people are like, oh, I grew up in a small resort. I'll go to New York. People are like, whoa, I ride a small resort. I said, no. 300 vertical feet is small.
It's that small.
But I loved it. Mad River Mountains, where I grew up riding, and my dad and I started together. And so that's where it all began. So if anything, like, Mad River is like Bo Fountain's ski area. So that's why I always claim, like, we have Mad River Mountain. That's all I cared about.
Yeah.
And what I love to do. But I still have friends in Bo Fountain. My parents still live in Bo Fountain, and I go back there, for Christmas and everything like that.
Now, let me ask you this. You, what age did you really start getting into snowboarding? Were you young when all this?
Yeah. So my whole family, we started out skiing. My grandparents thought it was a good idea. Like, let's get everybody in the family skiing. It's something we can all do together. And then one day my dad and I saw snowboarding, and we just thought it looked cool. So we tried it out, and we fell in love. So I lucked out, though, and I always say this, it's like my stock thing, but it's so true. Like, my dad developed a passion for snowboarding before I knew what having a passion for anything was. I just like to snowboard. He loved to snowboard. And there's like very few things I would say like my dad's like really had passions for, like outside of, family. And it would be wrestling. It would be radio and sales and snowboarding. So I lucked out. So we would travel. I'd be like, let's go here. Okay, yeah, for sure. And he was so down. And so it really worked out for me as a little kid. I just got to go snowboarding. My dad would drive me through the middle of the night. We'd end up in like Western PA. I'd be all jacked to go, and he would have not slept, but he loved it so much. He was like, all right, drink some coffee and let's go.
Yeah. Very passionate then.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Now, you moved to Vermont to pursue your love of snowboarding and stuff, and you enrolled at Stratton Mountain School Ski and Snowboard Academy, huh? Talk a little bit about that.
So when I was going to Western PA to Seven Springs, there was a guy there that ended up coaching at Stratton Mountain School, and he's the one who kind of opened our eyes to it. I mean, I just snowboarded. That's all. I didn't know anything about it. And then the coaches there started kind of recruiting me. Hey, you should come. 6th grade, no way. 7th grade, no. 8th grade is when my mom and my dad were kind of like more serious about it. They were mostly focused on like the education side because my mom didn't want me to sacrifice my education just for snowboarding. No matter what. I mean, no matter what you do, you don't want to sacrifice your education. Right. So I made a deal with her. I had to take Latin for 4 years of school to go to this school. But the problem is I only went winter of 8th grade. So you got to think 12, 13 years old. I finished school in the fall and spring, and I had to get tutored by this older gentleman. And I have bad ADHD. I'm like this. He would physically grab my face, turn it. And so my mom would just have to remind me, like, you have to do this if you really want to go to the school. If you really want to go, you'll do this. And so I went winter of 8th grade, survived, and then I went all through high school. So high school, I played soccer there in the fall. We did normal stuff in the fall and spring, but winter we snowboard in the morning, go to school in the afternoon, and then they allowed you to travel. Teachers work with you to get caught up on tests when you get back. But the school was very, very like college prep oriented. If you didn't have good grades, you're not traveling.
You're not going to even travel. Yeah, that's interesting. Before we kind of get into your career and stuff after that, we do got to talk about, because this is a big thing, family. You have big family, big family. Between the Shalaces, the Amos, the Vitos, I mean, Jesus. And it's funny, I know all of them back here. Our families, the Vincies, the Shalaces, and the Amos all grew up together and stuff. So it's kind of a cool thing. So talk about a big Italian family that you got and how fun it's got to be when you get together.
I mean, it's the most funny because like I don't know how much outside of New York, because I'll be in Utah and in Ohio. Some people don't understand like how Italian families work, and you're like, oh my Aunt Bam or my Aunt Nettie just passed away, and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry. How old was she? She was 103, 104. They're like, your aunt? And I'm like, oh, you just, it's
Right.
confusing. But, and then same, I love it because, you know, you have everybody and you differentiate them by who their grandmother, you know, or their mom was, Joey Bam, Joey Nettie. It's like how you always do it. And then you have Little Philip, Big Philip, Little Louie, Big Louie. It's like, it's something that I miss because I'm on the West Coast and I don't feel like it's people can relate or understand, and you don't get that good vibe of where like you go out on the East Coast and you're like talking about this or that and they get it, and it's like everybody's laughing because they understand the humor. But I love it. I mean, my dad's family probably would have been even bigger, but his mother was like a 2-time widow by 35. So my dad only has my Aunt Paula, who's still in New York, who I actually got to see not too long ago, thank goodness. And then after that, it just we have so many Louis in the family, so many Joeys in the family. It's the best because telling stories to people who don't know is like to watch their face. They just have no idea. But going back to it's like the best. I remember summers in Rome, and you know the Wadillas, you know, thankfully they're sponsoring this. They you know, they lived next to my grandparents and they had a pool, and like I would go over there and swim and hang out, and you know Sarah and Lauren were like, you know, so cool and older than me, and then their brother was like, I think Dylan's like a year younger than me, but it's just like everybody had kids and everybody's family. Like, you don't have that anywhere, I feel like, outside of the East Coast. So I miss that, but I love, like, I just talked to my family, you know, Philip and Brian and Val, like all them, they were all together at, you know, Val's house, and you miss it. You know, that's the one thing, I guess, the one thing I kind of sacrificed in my life is I'm always busy. I'm always traveling. So you don't get back there as much, you know, like Ryan's girls, like I have photos of Gianna and she's like little. I'm like holding her. Now I'm like, who's this guy on your Instagram page? Let's get him off here. You're like in high school. It's weird, but you miss it. And that's the thing that I miss the most is going back. So hopefully this summer, I'm going to try to get back, and sooner rather than later. At the end of the day, that you miss it. I mean, you really do miss it.
Right. And like you said earlier, you know, and we have such a big family too that, you know, like you said, sometimes you see your family at the worst times. Somebody passes away, you're at a funeral. It's you just don't get, you know, to sit and laugh with them and enjoy it. I mean, it is tough. And like you said, you travel a lot, you got a lot of things going on. And like you said, it is tough to come back, you know, probably a little bit less than you want to. But when you do, when you get together, it's a lot of fun.
It's too, you know, you got to make sure that you don't eat very much leading up to it, because I remember my parents used to barely let my sister and I eat when we would go see my grandma, because you would have one plate or you had 5 plates. Every time it was, you barely ate anything. Like, Louie, you don't feed your kids. And it's like, and I ate a lot, and I still eat a lot. I had like 5 plates, and my grandma, it was never enough. So that's the, you know, you miss the food, and I can't wait. Like, I just love doing stuff with family in general, because no matter what happens in life, you can always count on family, and family will always be there. So be able to spend time, it goes by fast, but to really get those moments is what it's all about. Yeah,
absolutely. This looks like a familiar face saying hello. Lindsay Vito? That sounds familiar.
That's my sister right there.
Yep. Hey, Lindsay, thanks for watching. So now getting into your career, 4 out of 5 U.S. Snowboarding Grand Prix, 6 X Game medals, 2 Winter Dew Tour Cup championships. I mean, you've done a lot. You've done a lot in that. I mean, what are we pointing at? What do you got over there?
Those are the 2 Duke. Those are my 2 overall Dew Cups. They don't even do it. They don't do it anymore. But I won those last 2, and that was when it was hard. Like, now they moved it to just 1. There's 1 contest. It's called Dew Tour. But this was back when there was 3. That's also, we used to go to Vermont. Those were like the good days where it was those ones are mean a lot, because it wasn't just a one and done. Like, you had to be consistent through multiple contests to win. So
yeah, I mean, how hard is it to continue to win like that? I mean, you had to put in a lot of time, a lot of practice.
Well, I mean, the crazy thing is looking back how many contests we would do in a year. I mean, I was doing 6+ contests, so that's like train, do the contest, get on a flight the day after the contest, land, train, do the contest, get on a flight. So there's so many contests where you take a slam and you're sore as hell, and then you got to get on a flight. You fly from the West Coast to Killington. Okay, now you're in Killington, which is on the other side of the country. Then you're in, freezing temperatures, and you're already sore, and you got to push through, do it. Hopefully you don't take any slams. Finish that contest. Next day, get on another flight, and then fly overseas. And I mean, that's what I think I love, though, is how much we were like always on it. You were, I think overcoming pain sometimes is like, I like it because you're like, like no matter what, I'm not going to let this get me down. But it's crazy, like how many events I was doing year in, year out, where I was traveling. There's not a lot of downtime. It was just boom, 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 boom. I feel it now when I wake up in the morning.
Oh,
but yeah.
That's crazy, man. We do got a question for you from Bob Taylor. Okay. Were you good friends with Shaun White? If so, do you still stay in touch?
Yeah, Shaun and I are cool. I saw him briefly, like at the end of the season, but I haven't talked to him recently. I mean, with all this going on right now and people here and lockdown there and all this pandemic stuff, you kind of just – I haven't been home for 2 or 3 months ever since I've lived – at least since I've lived in Utah. I've been here for 14 years. So I've just been like, wow, I'm home for once. I got to get a new roof for my house. I got to get my bathroom gutted. I'm doing all this stuff. So I'll probably see him now that things are starting to open, and we're cool. I mean, we don't really run with the same crowd as much, but when I see him, we're good and, keep it moving.
That's cool. We got somebody saying hello. Susan O'Reilly. Your Bella Fontaine.
Bella Fountain. There we go.
Friends love you, Louie. So
I love it. I like the people that come. I mean, I think between your friends and my friends that come through, it's always nice. Like it's like a big extended family for growing up. I mean, I've known the O'Reilly family since I was a little kid, so it's cool, like I said, to have that support through everything.
Yeah, that's cool. Now this is pretty interesting. At 17, you complete a backside 1080 at the Australian Open Championship, becoming the first rider to pull off in that competition. Man, that's pretty freaking good. Man, tell us about that.
I mean, that was like I was going to Australia quite a bit in our summer there, winter, and it was just one of those, like, it was a good vibe. It was warm and slushy. So, in the winter, the pipes are very firm, no matter what. They're really firm. So if it's soft, you kind of get a little more confident. You're not like, your body's not tense. You're not worried about slamming as much, and you're just kind of feeling it. I never even did the trick before. I was just like, I'll try it this run. I was riding well, and you just kind of go with it. And it also comes down to when it was in Australia, it's a big event. I mean, big payday, everything, but it's not your normal winter tense or intensity feel. So it was a good, like, when I say vibe, like, your friends are there, the weather was nice, good crowd, you're in Australia, and you're, everything's going, and that's kind of what pushes you. You kind of feed off the energy of your friends, and they landed a good run, I'm gonna land a good run. And I was traveling with a good group of people. We were going in like Australia, New Zealand, and then going back to the US. So we were all traveling together. But that was a good one. That was like kind of in the beginning of where I started to kind of build the momentum moving forward to where I am today. Yeah.
So you just felt it that day. Sometimes you just felt it was a good day. Everything seemed to be running smooth, and said, "Fuck it, let's give it a shot."
So that worked out, and then moving forward, I was the first person to land a frontside double cork 1080 in competition. I was the first to do 3 in a row, first to do 4 in a row. So I mean, it was just, you just kind of gotta push each other, and if somebody lands on you, like, okay, I want to one up it, or if I got to learn this trick. And a lot of these newer tricks now, I was learning with no airbag, no foam pits or anything like that. It was just, you do a single flip, you do the sign of the cross, take a deep breath, and throw it harder, and hope that you don't land on your head, and you at least get it to your butt or your back or something to kind of understand the trajectory of the rotation and the access of it. And like, okay, I can land this now. Yeah. So it definitely gets a little scarier now because some of these tricks, but we have these things called airbags that I've learned 2 of my 7 doubles that I can do on. Okay. So it gives you a little bit more of a safety net, but in the beginning, man, it was just do or die.
Yeah, that's it. Somebody asked a question too. Have you had any serious injuries?
Yeah, I've had femur, slice my head open, slice my eye open, my meniscus, shoulder, wrist, bone graft from my wrist from re-breaking it so many times, blown L5, tear my L4, broke my L5. Yeah, so I've got a few.
Yeah,
I've rode with my meniscus torn. That made it worse.
Wow.
Rode with my discs blown and broken, so that obviously still bothers me to this day. Rode with my wrist broken. That's why I had to get a bone graft for it. So, it's like one thing. That's why I laugh on some of these other sports. It's like he's sitting out because he's got a sprained thumb and the non-shooting hand. I'm like, a sprained thumb, bro?
Right. Yeah.
I've slammed with a broken back. I've had a broken back and then still slammed on top of it. It doesn't feel good.
No. Oh, God, no. Gloria Craig said hello, saying hi. Gloria Craig.
There we go.
No. Hi, Gloria. Thanks for tuning in. So I want to go into this because this I kind of find pretty amazing. Now, you got on to Dancing with the Stars. Now, first of all, how did you get approached by them on that?
Well, I'll give you a little extra detail on it. So they asked to do an interview with me, and they're like, I guess it was through an agent friend. It wasn't even through my agent. It was through a friend that's an agent. They're looking for somebody that kind of fit me. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm in Mammoth Lakes, California, so it's about a 5-hour drive from LA. And I actually just tore my meniscus, and I could barely go downstairs, but I was still riding. But I was like, perfect. Dancing with the Stars. I don't know much about the show. My parents love it. Mm-hmm. Floyd Mayweather was on it. Master P was on it. Sounds cool. But I don't have a lot of dancing confidence, especially without any liquid courage. So I was like, I will just use my meniscus as my excuse. If they say, hey, Louie, okay, I didn't even know what to expect. They're going to say, we're going to put on a song and you got to go dance for us and show us what you got. I got a torn meniscus, so I can't. So I was like, okay, let's do it. I had no idea. I mean, I'm just snowboarding. So I go there, do the interview, and it was really cool. I had a great conversation with them. I thought it went really well. And then they said I didn't fit with that season. So I said, okay, well, they're probably just going to see if I make the Olympics and whatever. So I kind of just put it away. I didn't, just didn't deal with it. And then all of a sudden they came back to me to do the fall season. And I was like, whoa, wait, I don't know. Like, I've never seen this before. Right. And my dad especially was like, don't say no. Let's just see what they require, what they're offering, and like obviously make sure it's real. Mm-hmm. So we did that, and then I talked to maybe 2 or 3 people, just a couple big sponsors, a couple one friend, and just what do you think? And then I just was like, all right. So one of my friends who's a mentor of mine, this guy Todd Richards, I remember, he kind of opened up my eyes, okay, if you're gonna do this, just know that you're gonna get a lot of crap from snowboarders, but that's fine. You just got to be able to learn how to have fun with it and make fun of yourself. And that kind of really, I think, I've carried on into other aspects of life. You have to be able to take yourself seriously and not go on the show and try to be somebody you're not. You're wearing sleeveless satin shirts.
Right.
Who are you trying to kid here? You're gonna wear what you got to wear and own it. So I ended up doing it, and let me tell you, that has made anything else in life way easier, because snowboarding, Dancing with the Stars. Right. And so there's a lot of room in between now that I can do stuff, but the craziest thing is you're in a room and you're getting ready for the first episode. And I remember Chuck Liddell's shadow boxing. I'm like, wow, this guy's been famous and huge forever. And then you have Michael Irvin. He's rubbing his legs. I'm like, this guy's been to the Super Bowl how many times, and MVPs and all that. But everybody of those guys, they're getting ready how they would get ready for their sport, but they're out of their comfort zone. I'm out of my comfort zone. Then you have obviously the Donny Osmond, who this is he's gonna go get a snack real quick and to perform. Right. He's doing his Vegas show while he's doing Dancing with the Stars. He's been dancing longer than I've been alive. And then you have Maya, who took dance in college. But the athletes, we were just so out of our comfort zone, but everybody was kind of doing their own routine, what they would do for their sport, but it was completely out of their norm. It was insane.
And you got to dance with Chelsea Hightower. And how was that?
So that was experience. That was cool. It's funny because you think what you think about going into Dancing with the Stars is completely thrown out the window once you do Dancing with the Stars. I was like, I can do this. But I learned very quickly that just because you learn the steps and you're doing the steps doesn't mean you're dancing. It means you're just doing the steps.
Right.
And then you have somebody like Chelsea. I was her second partner. She's young. I'm young. We're just trying to she's trying to keep my focus. I have bad ADHD, but we're in a room practicing like minimum of like 7-8 hours a day. Wow. And like in snowboarding, if I get frustrated, I'll go, if I'm hiking up the pipe, I'll go take a run. I'll go work on something else. I'll come back tomorrow because I have a week, and I know what I'm doing. Right. Dancing with the Stars, it's like, you have to learn this. And you can't just come back in a day or two. Like, you're going to use, because you're going to be learning something completely different. Friday, you got to pretty much be getting the show. Like, you got to be able to tell the camera people where the stage is, where the crowd is, and you got to have an idea. Sunday, you're in the studio with all the producers, all the boom cameras, and they're practicing. You're doing it in front of all of them. So you don't want to look bad in front of the producers. Then Monday, it's game. Like, you do a dry rehearsal in the morning, but it's game time. And the thing is, like, snowboarding, all right, Louie, live dropping, like live TV, you can drop. I go to my spot, tighten my bindings, get my song going to the right spot. Again, sign of the cross. Whew. All right, let's go. Dancing with the Stars, it's like professional snowboarder Louie Vito. And it's like, once that music hits, you're going. It's like, hold on, I have to sneeze, I have to cough. You're going. There's no waiting. And the other thing that really I think is tricky that people maybe they don't understand is I'm not good at counting and dancing. So I always listen. I've always just had that, like, listening to certain parts. Yep. We practice on a CD. So they give you a CD of your song. And so all week you're practicing to the CD. Then when you go into the studio on Sunday is the first time you play with the band, I believe. Maybe we're even on a CD on Sunday. Monday, you're with the band. I think it's Monday. Okay. So Monday morning is the first time you hear the band. So then you have to rely on your partner to be like, can you guys slow it down a little bit? Can you guys speed it up a little bit? So that's like normal air. Sometimes it'll be a little faster. Sometimes it's a little slower. Right. And since it's not a CD where it's synthesized or, mastered, I had a hard time like listening to my musical cues because I didn't count. But it just was a whole new experience that I wouldn't trade for anything. Like, it made me better at what I do. It made my confidence stronger. It really put me out there. It opened me up to a whole nother demographic. But it was just it went from like pretty cool, like, yeah, whatever, to like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they gave me a bad score. Like, what?
Right.
You kind of get all heated.
And what's amazing is you were training for the Olympics and Dancing with the Stars at the same time. I had a big training camp at High Cascade in Wendell's that summer. And that's where I learned my first frontside double cork 1080. And for me, I was like, we just thought it'd be good to kind of take a break and get away. But if I could do Dance with the Stars, clothes you'd never see me wear on Halloween, right? Doing a dance I have no confidence in, 22 million people watching at home, live audience, judges, spotlight on you. And then it's like, turn around and go snowboarding. You're doing what you want to do. You know what the judges are looking for. You're wearing what you want to wear. You can do it at your own leisure. Mm-hmm. It would be a walk in the park. So that was like a big mentality thing we thought about it. But yeah, some people were like, he's an idiot. Like, he should be training for the Olympics. And I went late. I went a week late to Dance with the Stars. I was in New Zealand when they announced it all. And I got there a week late. And I remember I went to this event with Chelsea. It was like our first party that we went to, kind of promoting the show. And I remember I'm doing a press line or something. And like one of the last people I went to, and mind you, this is new to me. So I'm like, cool, whatever. Right. Like, I have a publicist now, don't know what that is. And I get to the last lady and she's like, we're like asking, she's like, you're pretty pale. And I was like, yeah, I was in New Zealand, which is wintertime, for the last month. Like, okay, I'm sorry that I'm pale. I'm not, what am I supposed to be, tan? Right. But I was like, this is wild here. Like, I snowboard, okay? Like, right. I got a spray tan on that show, and let me tell you, that was like, oof, really?
Now I tell people that all the time because I think it's hilarious, but I didn't even know what that was really.
Yeah.
So like, I'm telling you, that was like full submersion of like, it wasn't like dip your toes into something new and different. It was like we're throwing you out in the middle of the ocean. Good luck. And I was like, where am I? What is going on? But kind of just, I mean, there was cool, like Max Shimkovsky, who was a professional dancer on the show. He was super helpful for like a male figure. I mean, Chelsea and I got along. She was my age.
Yep.
You know, she came from the dancing world. But Max was like that masculine figure. Tony was that masculine figure that kind of helped me understand of like how to play it a little bit and things to think about. But Max was like a big help for me on the show, because to me, I'm like, dancing, like what? He's like, listen, let me give you some insight. This is how you got to think. This is how you got to move. Right. And he was a good help. Big help for me.
That's awesome. Guys, we're with Louie Vito, USA Olympic snowboarder, Dancing with the Stars. Got a couple people, that Gloria Craig, who said hi, straight out of Logan County.
Yeah, that's where both found is. There we go.
It is. So you got another local watching. And great job, Louie Vito from, WMLM 1520 AM.
Wait, what was that?
It's WMLM 1520 AM. Must be some.
Oh, there we go. Radio station.
Little radio station. Are they from back home? I don't know where they're from. Not definitely from here. WM. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Well, they said great job.
Yeah. I like it.
If you guys got any question for Louie, definitely message me. Donna Spring Samaris said, enjoy your interview. So thank you, Donna.
Hopefully.
Enjoying your interview. So let me ask you this. You have a charity, a Louie Vito Rail Jam. Talk about that a little bit.
I've been very fortunate and blessed to like have my parents kind of guide me in so many like the right directions and things. And, that was one of the things is giving back to the community. And the way I look at it is, if people are, how'd you learn to snowboard in Ohio, or how'd you get to where you are being in Ohio? You had no half pipe, you had short seasons, barely any snow. But I think that like if I grew up here in Utah, let's say, where I look out my window and I have huge, beautiful mountains, but I meet people in Utah all the time who've never snowboarded. And I don't know, maybe I wouldn't have appreciated snowboarding if I grew up here. But growing up where I grew up, anywhere I could, I've literally ridden landfills they've turned into ski resorts and had a blast. Just any kind of snowboarding you could do. Mm-hmm. And so I think that the community helped shape the person I am, obviously, but also the type of snowboarder I am. So we always thought it would be very good to, give back. As I've been growing, going to Vermont and now, doing what I've done, is always to remember where you came from, not only using your platform, but also for yourself, to stay grounded. And I think it's a Midwest thing and very, East Coast, very blue collar. And so I've had my rail jam. I don't even, honestly, I brain farted normally. I remember it's like 16, 17 years now. I mean, it's crazy. Like, I've been doing it since I've been going to boarding school. But it's it's a rail jam. So for people who don't know, it's, we have these rails set up on the mountain, and all my sponsors and friends that own companies, they donate prizes. So we give prizes for age groups. And then we do a last man standing raffle where the entry fee's a canned food product. So if you want to compete or you want to be in the raffle, you have to donate canned food products. And I've had businesses even do canned food drives and donate to me, but it's always right after the holidays. So when the food pantries are bone dry, we restock them pretty much for the whole year. And so we do a last man standing raffle. The winner of the last man standing raffle, you could win a t-shirt, you could win the grand prizes, which is a trip to Woodward Copper Snowboard Camp, which is in Colorado. Pretty soon, it's starting up actually pretty soon. And then High Cascade Windells, which is a snowboard camp. They didn't have Woodward Copper when I was growing up, but I used to go to Windells and High Cascade growing up. And that camp starts in about 10 days and runs for 2 months, about 2 months. And that's in Mount Hood, Oregon. So it's summertime snowboarding. We take care of the flights. All you do is show up and you can go have the best time of your life, because that place is insane, both of them. Wow. So that's the grand prize. And then this last winter was the first year that we're starting to kind of build it out with, donations and having, title sponsors. But it's tough because it's growing without us really trying to grow it. My parents both own their own business. They're both busy, but yet they've been managing this. So, I mean, they put in a lot of work. And then come time for the actual rail jam, it's like aunts, family, friends, cousins, they're all coming in. They're doing registration. They're collecting all the canned food and the bibs and handing out prizes and making sure everything runs smoothly. So all I have to do is show up and go ride a little bit, hang out. But again, it's like comes back to that family and community where everybody's involved and they're the ones who really make it go. I help promote it. I'll show up, but they're the ones, like the community's really taking this in and really put it on. But yeah, it's been 14, 15, 16, I don't know, just a crazy amount of years now. And it's going strong, but it's definitely, I get stoked because I mean, you give away a summer snowboard camp, like a week of it, and you have like a teenager literally cry.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because it just blows their mind. It's like you can't emulate that any other way. I mean, it's great for me to be in that, and then it's great for me to have a kid that's just so thankful to go ride. And it's like to be able to facilitate that is probably worth it more than anything else.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great thing you guys do, and you're giving back to the community. That was one of the things, when we see athletes, and especially growing up, and you see them give back to the community and to the kids who idolize you guys and watch you guys and want to be like you guys when they get older and stuff. To see you guys give back to something like that and is great, man. I think that's a super foundation you guys do, and like you said, it's got to make somebody just so happy and so excited to go to one of these camps.
Well, it makes me feel good that I've been able to do it for this long and people still come. So, yes. I mean, I've been doing it for a long time, and it was like, snowboarding goes like this, my career goes like this, but to have people come and, like, again, from the riders to my family and the community and family friends that come and help, that's awesome to me that it's been able to go for so long.
Absolutely. Sherry Hellsworth said you are the best. Been following you since the Olympics.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That's 10 years right there. See, it's like that's the stuff that I'm thankful for because, again, I mean, in the last 10 years, I've done a lot of different results, bad results, hot streaks, cold streaks, but to have people that, have still followed me for that long, I mean, that's the stuff that I can't thank them enough because, I'm out here grinding every day, but it's to have that support. It's amazing.
That's it. Deborah Galuppi, thanks to both of you for giving back to our hometown Rome through this interview. Well, thank you.
I've had people that if someone's like, I'm from upstate New York, I'm like, where? I'm like, my family's from Rome. Like I claim Rome half the time too. If someone's from upstate New York, I'm like, Rome, RFA. Never went to RFA, but I'll claim RFA all day.
You do, man. You got half Rome blood in you, man. So you are definitely part of the city and people.
And I gotta find some of my dad's old Letterman jacket or something, some RFA. We didn't have that at Stratton, so I'll start rocking the RFA one.
It's got the orange and black.
Oh yeah, I remember. See, I don't know that stuff, but I've only know from spending the summers there, but I would like to go and like talk to the kids now and have them talk to like you and even my dad, who's a little older than you, but see how much it's changed because some of the stories my dad has are like just blows my mind.
They're classics, man. Oh man, I could sit down with your cousin Phil and we could go over stories from our high school and everything else, and man, it would just. We'd have more laughs and, just a lot of fun.
I mean, like I've heard about like River Street and, like my dad grew up on River Street forever and that whole crew. And then,
oh man. Yeah.
Anyways, we'll have that one. When I come to Rome, we'll have that conversation.
Yes, absolutely. We got another question from Bob Taylor. Who's Louie's favorite Buckeye player of all time?
Oh,
man.
Gosh.
There's so many.
I know. I think it's funny because I've always went through waves as like a normal little kid would. Like I loved David Boston when David Boston was there.
Yeah.
I loved Andy Katzenmoyer when Andy Katzenmoyer was there. James Laurinaitis, loved him. Eddie George. I mean, those are like the most cliche. I feel like Eddie George, of course.
Right.
But now I've kind of really gotten into following like recruiting and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think I would say I've met Paris Johnson a few times, so I'm a big fan of Paris Johnson as a person.
Mm-hmm.
So you meet these people as people, and they're like,
right.
that is a good kid. And I sound old when I say that. I love that though.
Right.
But I would say like the David Boston, the Eddie George, Andy Katzenmoyer. I love Sean Springs because a cousin of his, I was one of my really good friends growing up and still a friend of mine today. My friend Ellen. So when I found out that was, whoa, that's your cousin, when you're really fan out. Those would be my top ones.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, we are with Louie Vito. We're going to get into some fun questions now. Louie, I'm going to ring off a couple questions and hear some great responses. I'm sure you have. What was the craziest thing that's ever happened to you in an event? Maybe with a fan or with another competitor? What would you say? What's your craziest story?
I think it's pretty crazy. The first time I signed, we'll say body part or a face or something like that. You're like, wait, you want me to sign your face? Like what?
The face?
Yeah, I mean, I've signed everything. It's wild. I think U.S. Open, which is a contest they used to have in Vermont, it's the most historic snowboarding event. They used to have snowball fights literally going across the pipe in between the runs.
Okay.
That was always wild because that was when I was in Vermont. They put us on a side of the mountain where it's Stratton that nobody would, if you're not there for the event, you wouldn't run into it because it was people heavily drinking. It was a giant party, and it was mud season in Vermont. So you can imagine how loose that would get. The worst one though is when my friend Scotty Lego and I didn't make finals at X Games, we decided to poach. So during the contest, we would just go, and when we weren't even in the contest, and we were following each other, and he did one extra hit, and X Games is jam packed, thousands of people at the bottom, and we collided in the middle, and I hit my face because this is before you had to wear helmets. I hit my face and I split my eye open, and Lego would tell you the last thing he remembers is my smiling face because I was I knew we were about to hit, and I guess I started laughing, and I was jumping up to get my hat, and I'm laughing. He's like, "Yo, you got to chill, and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "You're bleeding really bad." I looked down, had blood coming down, and I had to walk in to X Games. You have to walk through the crowd just to get out. So I was it was so embarrassing because you're a professional snowboarder. You're trying to be cool and poach the pipe. Right. You collide with your buddy who's also an amazing Olympic snowboarder. And so I had the beanie next to my head with my board holding it try to walk off so nobody could see that. I just had a bloody face because I was just cooked it. So there's some other ones that we'll leave out, but for the most part, that's a good one.
Okay. Now, do you have any pre-event rituals? Is there a certain song you listen to, a certain band, or is there a certain food that you eat before an event?
I mean, before an event, normally I have some kind of pasta, and that's always important. The morning I have oatmeal and eggs, and that's always the same, but I eat that pretty normally anyways. I do have a contest song, so one song that normally lasts through the whole season, especially when I was doing so many events. I would listen to a lot of Meek Mill, who's one of my favorite rappers, but it just, as soon as that was on, it was game time. It was so loud. You would be standing next to me. And there's actually, if you watch X Games in France, the one I won, Legos, my friend, same person I collided with, he pulled out because he slammed really hard and didn't take his last run. He told me that he wasn't going, and I was supposed to go after him, and he didn't tell the starter. I didn't know that, so I just started to go. So the person in front of Scotty went. Scotty would have gone. He pulled out. So I was ready to go. Wait, that's not Scotty. And my music's so loud, I can't hear anything. I just go, whoop, do my thing, win the contest, but couldn't hear anything.
Wow.
It's same song, puts me in the zone. And I think the song, every once in a while, if my last day of practice, if I ride well, I'll wear those same socks as long as I'm not I won't do it if I'm sweating like crazy. Right. But if I have a good practice, normally I run the same socks for the first day. Or if I ride well in qualifying, I wear them for finals. But that's not like super set in stone superstition. But music, always music, always loud. That's it. Once I'm strapping in to get ready to go, don't like. I might talk to my coach. He'll say, "You got this. Like, let's do this, son." Music back on. Don't talk to me about anything else.
Okay, sounds good, man. So, you got it, man. That's a lot.
That's it.
I love asking athletes about that and stuff. So what does Louie Vito do in his spare time when you have time? What kind of, do you have any hobbies you like to do, or are you just sitting back? What do you like to do?
I mean, it's changed over time. I just like hanging out with friends, especially if I'm home. I'm a homebody pretty much. I don't really go out that much anymore in Utah, especially. So I just chill. Like, I'm happy to be home. I like to lay on my couch, to have your own refrigerator, your own kitchen is just the best. I used to skateboard a lot more. I don't really anymore just because I'm tired of slamming.
Yeah.
But during this quarantine, I've been doing a lot of stuff for my house, trying to like go from young kid with a house to like more professional style person, like actually a home.
Mm-hmm.
So like you see some of this stuff here, I'll get rid of because it's like shoes and things I've collected because I was on Nike forever and slowly getting that off. But I go to the gym. I mean, that's pretty much every day. If I'm not snowboarding, my day will revolve around going to the gym. And then when I travel, sometimes I almost do it to a fault. I'm like, I got a 7 a.m. flight, got to be there at 6. I'm going to start working out at 4. I can be done by this time, be on the road to the airport. And it's just like, eat in the car, park, I'm good. But gym's like a big one. It just sets the tone, I feel like, for the day. Mm-hmm. If I skip a workout or if I'm eating crappy, like it like mentally screws me up for the day. So I think setting the tone with the workout, and then you can go enjoy barbecues and hang with friends or sleeping and napping or whatever you want to do. You got to get the workout in.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a question from Sherry Hallsworth again. How good a golfer are you?
I'm getting better. My girlfriend's a golfer, so she's been helping me out, testing her patience, my patience with golf. But I've been getting better. I had like my best round, my best front nine, horrible back nine, best front nine. And then I went golfing like last week with my sister and her boyfriend and my girlfriend, and I had the worst game ever. And I was like, I hate golf. You know, because like I had the best, and I was like best drive, best score, and then I'm like, I'm moving in the right direction. This hard work's paying off. And then it was just like, okay, never mind. But I'm a weekend golfer. It's just once again, get my workout done, then I can go.
Yeah. All it takes is one bad hole to throw your golf game off. Especially for me. If I have one hole right.
Well, see, it's funny though. For me, it's if I start playing really well, then I start building that I just drove this ball every time, and I start trying harder and harder, and then it like so it's actually if I'm playing like really well for me, then like I'm trying for that bar. It's like I gotta go in, just go up there, no expectations, and that part for me.
Right. I got to ask you this question because we're big foodies. What's your favorite city to eat in when you travel? Is there a city that when you go there, you go, man, I got to go to this place or I got to go to this place?
Yeah, so a friend of mine owns a restaurant in Chicago called Sunda, and that's like one of my favorite restaurants in the country. I also have a friend that has another sushi place called Go Fish in PA where I go work where my trainer is. Mm-hmm. So I like that. A lot of sushi. But I just found I was going to Stanford a lot for doing some NBC stuff. And there's this Italian restaurant there that their eggplant parmesan was like amazing. Mm-hmm. And then I get on this eggplant parmesan kick, and I'll go to another Italian restaurant somewhere. I'm like, eggplant parm, and it's just like too fried and too breaded. And I'm like, I don't know why I trust other places. Like, not many places can do it the way I like it. Right. But I don't even remember the name of the place. I know where it is. It's like walk 2 blocks and it's on the corner from my hotel. Right. And I'd eat. And the problem is I get like, my eyes get so big. And I'm like, I'll take this. I'll take this. I'll take this. Right. And then again, the guilt kicks in because I'm like, I just honestly ate 3 meals in one sitting. But as far as restaurant, like names of restaurant, I mean, I'm a big Italian, big sushi. Mm-hmm. I can't go wrong with either one. But don't try to take me to some. I don't like crazy Italian restaurant. Like, I have to go with somebody that is Italian. That's like, this spot is good. Right. Or go to like Rome. Like, right, you can go to get good food in Rome. Sure. But if you're going to take me to New York, I don't want to go to some random. Yeah, right. They serve Italian. It says fine dining. I don't want fine dining. I want like your grandpa's coming out and going to serve me some food. Yeah, absolutely. So, well, Louie, we're almost coming to the end here, but now you've faced some battles on the snow slopes, Dancing with the Stars, but now you're going to enter something that's pretty heavy, and it's called the penalty box. I'm going to ask 5 questions, and you're going to tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. So, I mean, I know you crazy shit, but this gets pretty intense right now. You ready? I think I am, so let's do this. How hard can this be? This we just kind of talked with. Favorite meal? What's your favorite meal? I grew up, my favorite was always ravioli. Now it's lasagna. Was probably my favorite. Stuffed shells. Those 3 kind of rotate. Okay. Ravioli, but they don't give you enough at restaurants. I got to have a big old plate of that. And I refuse to order raviolis out because you might get 5 of them that are good size, but man, that's like an appetizer to me. I want more. Ain't gonna fill me up. Exactly. Right? And I'm gonna spend $15 for Thank 5 you. No, not happening. All right. Favorite musician or band? Yeah, that's an at-home thing. Favorite music for a while. Meek Mill, Ace Hood. Those are probably my 2 favorite rappers at the moment. Band. I mean, I obviously love Sublime, Nirvana growing up. Ozzy, Rage Against the Machine, Chili Peppers. I like all those bands, but I would say I listen to mostly rap. So okay, all right. Bucket list place to snowboard, or have you hit them all? Is there one place you haven't been that you'd like to? No. Yeah, I want to go to like some random place that's like blows your mind. Like, I didn't even know you could snowboard. You know, I think some people have gone to some crazy places, probably like India. There's like a mountain. You know, I want to go somewhere where it's like you just don't even think about it. I would go anywhere. Like if like the right person, you know, gave me clearance to go to like the Middle East and go snowboarding, I would go there. I mean, I would go anywhere to snowboard. I just want to go somewhere that's not the norm, like not a big resort that everybody's been to, and it's like Aspen. Like, I've been to Aspen. I want to go somewhere that's in the middle of nowhere, like Bosnia. Right. Something different. Okay. How about this last question here? If you could sit down with one person and have that big dish of raviolis, maybe a side of eggplant, and you could sit down with one person, whether they've passed on, they're still around, and just sit and shoot the shit with and just kind of talk, who would that person be and why? My grandma Phil. So from my dad's mom, I think just because her goal was to see all her grandkids graduate high school. I was the last one. So I did, and she actually passed away that summer. Mm-hmm. So she never saw the Dance with the Stars, the Olympics, all the X Games stuff. So all she saw was like Louie graduated high school, which was, you know, her main goal. But like trying to achieve his dream, like I think I did one or 2 X Games at that point, but not like anything else. So for her to be able to see it, like she'd probably be hitting me or something because she'd be scared watching me snowboard and doing, especially, I mean, she got stressed about what I was doing then. Right. Fast forward to like what I was doing in the Olympics and past that, she would have been like so mad at my dad most likely, but that's fine. She could be mad at him. But I think just for for her to see what I've done past high school, to see what her other grandchildren and their kids. I mean, my other two cousins, like, they have kids, and I think they'll never experience what we all got to experience. My sister with her fitness stuff that she's doing.
Yep.
I think there's just a lot of stuff that you wish that she was there to be a part of that she's not. And then my grandpa Louie, who I never met, he passed away when my dad was 2. I mean, that one would be interesting just because he probably wouldn't even know what a snowboard was, because he passed away well before snowboarding was even invented.
Right. Well, we got an interesting last question I'm going to read off, and then we got some great responses to it. This is, and I could always count on Bob Taylor for coming up with a classic question. Who would win in the snowboard competition between Phil and Brian Shalacy?
Phil and Brian Shalacy. I think it depends on the mood they're in. Like, I haven't Brian, if he's not thinking, maybe had like a little drink or something before, like a shot, because he's kind of like I feel like the wildest. Philip is like he's more of a thinker. So no offense to either one of them. So both of you shouldn't be offended by that. Those are both compliments. But I think Philip is always a little more methodical about it. Brian's like the crazier one. We'll like give him a shot, a fireball shot, and he'll just go try it.
That's it. I'm reading some of these comments. That's a good one. I would pay to see them both on the snowboard. Brian said you'd have to get Phil on the chairlift, first of all. And Alexandria Dodd said I would pay to see that. Lindsay laughing, Brian laughing. That would be classic to see.
I mean, I feel like the only thing is part 2 of this interview is we're going to the mountain with them. I mean, that feels like we need to. That
would be something. And I think next time, maybe when you come back to Rome, we do another podcast where we bring you guys all in the studio with us.
We got to have somebody manning the volume levels, because as you know, with the Italian family, we'll be hitting the red line and everything on that one.
That would.
People said, "Why do you talk so loud?" I said, "Have you ever been to dinner with an Italian family? Exactly. If you don't talk loud, you are not getting heard. And I like to be heard, so I'm yelling above everybody."
That's awesome, man. Well, Louie, I gotta say, man, it was a fun hour. It went by way too quick. You got a great story, man. It's good for the kids to listen to this and kind of see the work and time that you put in to what you've done. And like you said, you've taken on challenges that you'd never maybe even thought you could do. And even going with the Dancing with the Stars, something out of your element, and you did it. And I think all kids will get a lot out of this interview and to hear what you did, man. And we're proud of you, man. I mean, you're still part of, even though you're not from Rome, you're still part of Rome, and you got a lot of people behind you. And we wish you the best, man. And like I said, next time you come home, we'll have to get the boys together, and maybe we'll do a podcast live, and we'll have some fun. We'll bring in some good food while we're doing the show.
Oh yeah, we'll just go to Chukalana Club.
We'll get some food, because once we're back in the studio, then we can kind of eat and do the show together. So we'll have to keep an eye. I'll keep in touch with you, and when you come back, we'll definitely get you on board. But guys, I want to first thank the sponsors again for tonight's show. I want to thank Matt Grabsky at Joey's at 307 in Utica. Some of the best food around. Check him out. Also want to thank Geddes Bakery in Syracuse and the Pappas family. I definitely want to thank Ricky's Tires in Rome, New York, Ricky Sinfracco. And I want to thank Lauren Wadilla and Phil Shalacy for sponsoring today's show. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it, and it helps keep the show going. So, guys, Louie, thank you again for spending an hour with us, man. I'll keep in touch and see how you're doing. And, guys, stay with us on Monday night. Our next guest will be Sarah Bullis, fantastic singer, 17-year-old phenom. She's won a ton of awards, and she's only getting better. We're looking forward to having her on Monday night. So join us 7 to 8. If you're going to watch us on the replay, do us a favor. Please share this. Spread the word to hear Louie's story and everything he's done, and get the word out. But Louie, thank you again, man. It's been fun, and you stay safe, and we'll continue to look for you doing great things in the future.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thanks for all the sponsors, everyone who put up listening to me for the last hour. I appreciate it. And can't wait till we can all do this again and everybody get together.
Absolutely, man. That sounds good. Guys, it's Bill Vincey, Ryan Vincey from No Time for Nonsense. You guys have a great night. We'll see you on Monday.